He has to get back to what made him an elite hitter. Hello and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog.
I'm your host, Adam Peddle. I'm just fixing my mic right here. I realized it was so far away from me.
Okay, get that thing in order, brother.
And today we're going to be talking about something that, I'm sure every Blue Jay fan has on their mind, and that is whether Vladdy's going to catch up in 2021. Mm-hmm. But before we get going, just make sure to follow us on our YouTube account by hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification button to get updates when we're going live. So,
Will Vladdy Daddy
catch
up in 2021? And when we say catch up, I want to say we got this from an article that we saw in MLB, and it kind of said, will Vladdy Jr. catch up? And they were talking about a couple other 21-year-olds who are doing just fine.
Yeah, we literally talked
so far.
We literally talked about one of them in our other video. This is Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yep.
And Juan Soto.
And when when Vladdy came up, he had more prospect pedigree than these two guys. Now, they were all in kind of the same conversation of holy crap, these guys are going to be good.
Yeah.
And so far, two of them, Tatis and Juan Soto, are showing just how elite they are. Vladdy is a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Will he catch up?
And, here's the thing. Will he catch up? I think it's going to take him longer. And the evidence is...
It's already
being longer. I think it's pretty clear. But thing is, number one, Vladdy just simply has to get back into shape. He, coming into it, he was a bigger guy, and we're hoping that he can kind of round into, I'm not expecting him to look like Fernando Tatis Jr.
No.
But I'm expecting him to show up in his condition that he's best suited for. And, you know what, we saw a glimpse of that in spring training. I always keep remembering, I kept thinking, dang, Vladdy looks good. Mm-hmm. And, we coming into after quarantine, he didn't look good at all. However, like the article mentioned, he started to improve as the season goes on, and his body also started to improve in his ability. He looked good. He looked physically better as the season went on. Did he look at peak? No. But that's why I think it's going to be a lot longer, because it's going to take him a little bit longer to get into shape again.
Well, he's got 6 months. He's got 6 whole months to do what is realistically, for a professional athlete, a realistically pretty simple task. He's got a condition and he's got to work it out. Similarly, man, it's another really hard-hitting, really good exit velo guy who was a bit bigger, and that was Rafael Devers, is actually what I was going to say.
Okay.
He struggled in his first 2 seasons.
Okay. And
they said, he had a bit of a weight problem. Then he cut down, and in his 3rd season, we saw what happened. And ever since, he's been, a pretty much top-tier third baseman option.
Yeah.
Similar player profile, though, a bit of a bigger boy, but he slimmed down a bit, and his results improved drastically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought you were going to say Miguel Sano, because Miguel Sano is he's bigger, but he's also so muscular. But he hasn't found any consistency on the Twins with hitting for average. But although he has incredible exit velo, and I always think about him and Vladdy in the same category of they can just really smash the ball.
Yeah.
And but if Vladdy's still doing better than Miguel Sano.
Yeah. And Vladdy, you know what? He didn't do horrible this year. He didn't do horrible. He did above MLB average and in a lot of stats. Just his slash line, I'll read that off to you guys. 262, on base percentage 329, slugging 462. That's 2020 numbers. He had 34 runs scored, 9 home runs, and 33 RBIs.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, and I like looking at this for these rookies. It's seeing what's their total stats? Because obviously this year, they came up through in the middle of the season last year, and then this year's obviously abbreviated season. So, for his career, Vladdy's had 685 at-bats, so more at-bats than you'd see in a regular season. However, he had 102 RBIs. He drove in 102 RBIs.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good for a guy in his quote-unquote first season. Now, the one number sticks out is the home runs, which was supposed to be his bread and butter. He only had 24. And I say he only hit 24. Like, it's a disappointing thing. 24 is good for an average player. However, Vladdy, we expected that would be his bread and butter, his power with the contact.
Yeah, when we're talking about him catching up to Tatis and Juan Soto, 24 is not the number that we want to see. You know, we want that to be, you know, very much in that 40 home run conversation, which is very doable for this guy. You know, like he's in the 93rd percentile in exit velo and hard hit rate. So, like, he is definitely hitting the ball hard. However, you know, the constant thing has always been, and what we've said, is the launch angle. You know, he's getting on top of the ball far too much. He's topping it 43.7% of the time.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a ground ball 54.6% of the time. That is a lot of ground balls, and that is a lot of times to get on top of the ball. Like, it's just simple. Like, if you top the baseball, it's going to go right into the ground. And his launch angle is indicative of that because his career launch angle is 6 degrees to an MLB average of 11.9. That's almost half.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Of what the MLB is.
And they talked about that mid-season. Vladdy actually made a mid-season adjustment for those who didn't see. He was, in the beginning of the season, he was keeping his hands high up like this, going into his swing. So what this is going to create is, you know, you're going to be chopping down at the ball, which is literally you're going
like it's like top. You're slashing at
it. Exactly. So he actually made a mid-season adjustment where his hands are going to start more around his shoulders, so that when he loads up, it's not an up, it's a straight back. So then when he begins his swing,
you go through
the ball. Yeah, exactly. And like that's how you literally change your launch angle.
Well, I mean, I hope that works for him, man, because like he actually had and this is a little bit concerning, is that he did worse with the launch angle in this season, again, abbreviated short, whatever, than he did in his opening year, you know, and we should also note too, like, you know, statistically, he did do a little bit worse across the board, like average-wise and whatnot. You know, again, very small sample size, so that's what it is.
The only stat he did better in is OPS, which he increased by roughly 20 points.
Well,
so, you know,
I mean, that's something, eh?
Either way, it's like, what is it, Nick, going to take for you, like, for Vladdy to make an improvement next season? What do you expect to see coming in next season? What do you expect to be considered an improvement, stat-wise, shape-wise, whatever it might be?
Well, you know, like, I'm so happy that you asked me, but let's ask our boy Atkins, because he actually commented on this, and he said that he wants to see Vladdy Guerrero. He actually wants him to focus more on plate discipline rather than getting the ball in the air, because apparently, you know, and he commented about, you know, the launch angle and hitting home runs, and that Vladdy's been focusing so much on that, and like that's been all the conversation. Right. But he wants him to focus more on the plate discipline, because in the minors, and I look back at his minor stats, like he was incredible at taking a walk, bro.
Yeah.
He would take a walk 14% of the time. Granted, that's the minors. The pitching is not as good. But that's lowered now to 8.7% in the majors. Yeah. And that's a drastic jump for someone who that was a big strength. When he's been in with the Jays throughout his whole career, he's had 66 walks to 129 strikeouts. The walks were more than the Ks in the minors, and Atkins is saying, whatever your launch angle is, it doesn't matter. But if you can, if you can get walks and strikeouts to be around the same number, then you're gonna increase your average regardless.
Yeah. So do you want to see him take more walks?
I want to see him get more disciplined, for sure. I want to see him chase a bit less, and he did do that a little bit less.
A little bit less, he chased.
Actually, this season, statistically, he did it a little bit less, even though, which is crazy, because when you watch the games, you're
like all the time.
Yeah, it's a consistently change, and it's always the same pitch, too. Like, you know, it seems like they like to get him, like lower, like, breaking stuff, and he struggles with that.
Laying off the breaking balls.
Exactly, and so I think I definitely agree with Atkins to a extent there, that I think that he has to get back to what made him an elite hitter when he was coming up, and that was his discipline at the plate, whilst also in the offseason making that adjustment and trying to get under the ball a little bit more. But I don't want him to get in his head about it and ruin some other stuff that he has going for him.
And that's why he's got a whole 6 months now. He's got a whole 6 months to get it back into shape, make the adjustments. That's when you make the adjustments. You like making midseason adjustments is the worst because that will affect your play, that will affect your stats. Like midseason, moving over to first. You didn't expect that coming into spring.
No.
So that's gonna, that may have affected things. Who knows? Regardless, what would it take for you for Vladdy, stat wise, to be like, okay, I'm happy you made the change, you made the improvements.
Well, I mean, we'll like stat wise, we'll see it and we'll know, man. Like we'll see his at bats and we'll know. I guess if I had to put a number on it, like average wise, like upwards of 280, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like when we came into this year, I predicted him to hit. I think it was 282. Like I was saying, he was going to do 10 points better than what he did in 2019. Sadly, he did 10 points worse.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, hey, like I want to revert back to the positive trend.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's hit 285 next year, and I want to see some home runs.
Yeah.
I do want to see way more home runs for a guy. Like if you want to be as big as you are, if you want me to be okay with you being not necessarily as in shape as some other guys, then you match 40 home runs, and I can't say anything about it.
I want at least 30 home runs.
Yeah.
At least
I think 30
home
should
runs.
be very, very manageable
for
a guy who literally obliterated the home run derby in his rookie year.
Oh, God.
That
was incredible.
Yeah, like that doesn't look like a guy who hits 24 home runs. That looks like a guy who hits upwards of 35.
Yeah, exactly, man. We can only hope and pray. And like, here's the thing, guys. We have tons and tons of talent on this team. Just because Vladdy, he's the guy that is most under a microscope and the entire team. Everyone's like this on him all the time, and rightfully so, because we got hyped up. He was the first guy that came to the team. He was the hero. He was the savior.
Yeah.
But let's give him time. Let's give him his space, and I'm sure he's gonna. I have confidence that he will improve. I have confidence, absolutely.
I do think, when we ask, will he catch up to these guys? I think that he will.
Yeah.
I think that he will be a different player than these guys. Like he's not going to nearly steal as many bases as Tatis.
He got one.
Yeah, he did. He did get one, man. But he is going to be a different type of player, and I think that he will get to that point of being an elite power bat.
Yeah. That's who he's got to be.
We're going to start with him coming in shape.
Yes.
In 2021.
Yes. So Vladdy, if you're out there and you're watching, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, lay off the muffins, pal. Hit the gym, and we're going to get those 40 home runs. We're waiting for you.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
Yeah. I have confidence. I have faith.
Yeah.
All right, guys. What do you think? You think Vladimir Guerrero is going to make that next step forward to becoming one of our best players on the team? Let us know in the comments down below.
And guys, make sure to check us out on Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Also check out our Instagram. Bro, before we sign off, you know what we should get?
What?
We should start investing in like some really nice like liquor bottles or something, and write on it like in a sticky note like Vladdy like 40 home runs a season, and if he does it, like we get to crack it. Or like
that's
Biggio like X many walks.
Yeah.
And like if he does it, we get to crack
hits
it.
315.
Yeah, straight up, bro. And we can like have him out and stuff, and be like, we're still waiting on this one.
That's funny actually.
Yeah.
So guys, let us know. Do you think we should get liquor bottles with labels on them?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments down below.
Thanks so much for watching, folks.
And go Jays go.